Education. They have supervisory jurisdiction over the CSSPS. And he's joining me in the studio. Kwasi, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Yeah, thank you, Sanda, and a very good evening to you and your listeners.
Good evening to you too. Hope everything is well.
I'm fine. I'm doing great. And how are you too?
I'm doing well. Even me, who is not at the ministry, I'm receiving pressure from people who want their children sent to one place or another. As for you, dear, I'm sure this is the time that you have to put your phone off, or you are using the other SIM card.
I have only one SIM. Of course, there has been a lot of expectations on you, particularly when you are seen communicating on such subject matter when it comes to the CSSPS. And naturally, even if you take it from a cultural perspective, people may want to capitalize on relationships and other, quote and unquote, connections to be able to get some form of support or favors. But largely, we are trying to manage them. This is not the first time. This has been my third time with the CSSPS communicating on the whole placement model. So yes, you find a way of managing people's expectations and controlling their anxiety.
So how does the system work?
Yeah, of course, at the end of the day, I would say that is a process. Because you begin with the school selection process where parents and guardians, of course, they are so expected to guide their children to select 6 schools. Being it category A, where they have an option to select just one category A school. When it comes to the category B school, they are also eligible to select 2 of them. And then when it comes to category C school, they are required to select a maximum of 5. And of course, there's also one compulsory day school within 16-kilometer radius of where they attended their JHS. So after the selection process is where we do what we call text for confirmation. And that is also quite recent because it's something that the CSSPS initially did not used to do. So what we do is that we send back through a short code system and text message system the information or all the placement choices or the selection choices that you made, we send to you for confirmation. From there, after the BEC results is released, the CSSPS, their secretariat have a system where they've programmed, based on the algorithm that they've programmed, the students that are matched up to the choices that they've made. But of course, it's through a very competitive exercise because at the end of the day, students may have to compete with other students who also have the same interest within the particular school, the particular course, in terms of even their residential status and program at large within the schools. So, the system through the automatic placement may have to do such an adjustment, run such an algorithm, and then place students at the end of the day. So that has always been the case. This year, significantly, we had about 81% of students that were placed through the students.
81%?
Yeah, 81%. Yeah, compared to last year, which was around 69.
Okay.
Yeah, 69%. So, largely...
So over 10%?
Yes, I think it's around, let me get the data.
If it's 81, then that's about 11. That's 11%.
Yes, so this year you had 81.56%. In terms of the numbers, you are looking at 477,772 students that were placed through the automatic system.
Give that figure again.
477,772.
Okay.
In terms of percentage, it translates into 81.56%. But if you compare to last year, which is 69.24%, you are looking at around 372,780 students.
Okay.
So in terms of the automatic placement, a lot of students have been placed through the automatic placement. I'm sure it's even the reason why this year we are not hearing so much of the usual agitations and sometimes demands within the media that my word was not placed.
So the automatic placement means what? It means...
So when you look at the computerized student selection placement system, like I said, after the selection, obviously students have to be placed in the schools. Of course, that also have to tally with when there are vacancies within the schools. And the placement is done based on 3 main models. You have the automatic placement, which I'm going to explain briefly, the self-placement, and of course also the manual placement. The protocol falls under the manual placement.
Okay.
Or even within the manual placement, we also have other kinds of placement.
Okay.
So the automatic placement is the one that has been released, where the expectation was that you are matching students to
what they
the
asked
choices
for,
that they've made. And
So this is the original one.
yes, and all of them, I should say, should be the original. But I mean, let me put it within the proper context that this largely places more students who matches with the choices that they've made.
Okay.
Of course, we must also not forget that it's a competitive exercise. So, for instance, you may have 400 students who had grade 6 and may have selected general science in, let's say, Presec Legon. Yes, grade 6, but that have to be matched with the vacancies that has been declared for general science in Presec. So, assuming in terms of Presec, they say they are able to only admit 200 students for general science, then the system may look at even their aggregate score and
their raw scores.
Their raw score, the aggregate score, their raw score. And even sometimes if you go beyond that and look at in terms of the core courses, in terms of their performance and the scores that they had before they are able to place.
And this all computerized.
This all computerized.
It's not a person checking those things.
That's where the automatic system comes in. You may also even go beyond that. Sometimes even look at residential status.
Okay. So after that automatic, the next one you say is the
self-placement.
Self-placement. That one, if you are not posted
within the automatic placement,
the portal allows
the portal doesn't impose a choice on you. The system doesn't impose a choice on you because, I mean, in terms of even residency, people have their own choices why they select day or boarding. So the portal or the system will not impose a choice on you. It is a more reason why we leave those students to go and make their choices, because at every time, if a student, for instance, misses his or her first choice, the next consideration ordinarily should be the second choice. But remember, at every point, your second choice may also be somebody's choice.
First.
Yes, first choice. So, I mean, you may mix it out. When that happens, we don't impose a choice on you. That's where you go for the self-placement. The self-placement is I mean, largely done by the student himself, where he goes to the portal, puts in his or her index number, list of schools comes, also based on the performance
and availability.
The availability of the spaces the schools have.
So now you choose, you are sorted.
Yes, you choose, you are sorted. Then you come to the manual placement. In terms of the manual placement too, of course, you look at institutions that have, take students who have some basic and special needs. For instance, the deaf and dumb students or students with such disability. Clearly, you may have to specifically sit and do their placement. There are also schools with specific requirement before you enter. For instance, the seminarians. It's also done within the manual placement.
Okay.
And I think within the manual placement, there's also an option for the protocol placement that, I mean, recently generated some controversy.
And is that also the place where you talk about people in catchment area, or that one is not under?
The catchment
is under
area,
automatic.
Yeah, it's an automatic.
So if you chose a school, if you choose 5 schools or 6, the system will check where is your school, which one is the closer one, and they'll consider that for you.
No, you see, people may even want to school. Somebody may have completed a school in Tamale, and probably may want to school in, say, Tema.
Okay.
But outside the first 5 choices that you make, it is mandatory that your last choice should be a compulsory day school within your catchment area.
Okay, so you decide where you want to go to a day school. Okay,
exactly.
I get it now. All right, so after this 81% or so people have been placed, it seems there aren't a lot of agitations, like you said. In the past, people have to go to Independence Square and all of those things. That's not going to happen again, right?
No, it's a thing of the past. And one novelty that I believe is profound, and I must add, is also the National Prospectus, which has been introduced this year. Remember, previously, head teachers and school management had a discretion to issue prospectus based on the item categorization that they believe suit to their school and the school's culture. And a lot of times, it denied a lot of students access to education. Because you talk about the fact that it's free, but the prospectus could go as high as, let's say, 5,000.
Okay.
I mean, it really wasn't fair. And so this time around, we come out with a national and a comprehensive prospectus, where when you print your placement slip, the prospectus is attached. So you know the items that you are supposed. So those are basic and standard items that any student is supposed to get, so that we wouldn't have those discrepancies in prospectus where institutions and head teachers may be asking so much and students are unable to get the items on it to go.
So you don't have to go to the school to collect your prospectus?
No, this time around is a thing of the past.
And are the prospectus school specific, or is one single national prospectus?
It's one single national prospectus.
So if I have pajamas on mine, you must be having pajamas on yours, even if you are in Tumu?
Of course, there are also item categorization. For instance, I mean, I'm just borrowing, let's say, cleaning items. Ordinarily, students used to take broom
and hoe and
cutlass. But this time around, let's say a school like Oweremine in my own district, Asante Achim, instead of, let's say the school has vacancies for 1,000 students. Instead of all the 1,000 students repeating all these 3 items, this how we've shared it among them.
Oh, okay.
So a group could be bringing broom.
Okay.
Another group could be bringing,
that's very beautiful.
let's say, cutlass. Another group could be bringing hoe.
I like that.
So that we don't get the repetition. So that's also a novel thing. I mean, I don't see it to be so novel, but this is a common sense approach to solve problems that we face.
Is there anything else? Because I want to talk about something else. Is there anything else on the CSSPS?
I think so far, though, I mean, largely, but let me end by assuring parents that if you look at the declared vacancies that are available, and if you measure it with the students that were even eligible for placement, clearly there are a lot of vacancies. For instance, the total declared vacancies were 634,520. If you compare to even the total number of students that are eligible for placement, that's 585,797, you're almost getting an excess of 50,000 spaces.
So space D.
Space D. But the challenge has always been
where?
Yes, and the choice of school. Because of the system that we run, where students have options of making a choice of school where they want. It's possible that you may get some of the category A schools all choked, but you come to, let's say, a school in my own constituency and people may not be interested. So space D. So I'm assuring parents that.
I'm going to your constituency.
Oh, really?
Asante Achim. Okay, I almost said Asante Achim Agogo. That's a capital, right?
Agogo is my constituency.
That's a capital.
Yeah.
The Agogo is a capital.
Yeah,
but the constituency is Asante Achim North.
Asante Achim North. Yeah.
I've heard that the NPP primary is coming up in January. That is targeting sitting MPs. You are lacing your boots to contest. Is that correct?
Omar, I don't know whether this is an ambush. I never expected. I thought I was going to do.
Oh, I was just watching social media and I saw one or two things. Yeah.
I mean, it's fine.
Because you see, the last PRO of the Education Ministry is currently in Parliament. The fine boy.
Vincent, my elder brother. Yeah.
So when I saw yours, I said, oh, okay, it means that the Education Ministry is a platform for going to Parliament.
Well, at the end of the day, if you look at it, they're still progressive. Regardless of, how people may see it. Because at the end of the day, if you do not work to earn the trust and validation of people, I'm not sure anybody is going to treat you serious. So yes, people should be encouraged, irrespective of the platform that they find themselves. For me, I believe that, yes, the Ministry of Education gives you that address, it gives you that exposure, it gives you that mileage, it gives you that connection. It all boils down to the fact that you're able to utilize it well, you're able to work very hard. And at the end of the day, if the people believe that they are also giving you the nod, at every point, people may want to progress from the level that they are. People may have, their own ambitions. Of course, it doesn't also necessarily mean people should be excessively over-ambitious. But bottom line is that if you are able to work, serve well in any capacity that you want. Because, for me, in all humility and without any disrespect, I personally do not consider a PR as any huge office. It's more has to do with the person or your personality, the fact that you are able to build on it. And any office that you get, you are able to work well. People will reward you.
But why Asante Achim Agogo? Why do you want to contest there?
I'm from there. And they say charity begins at home. So definitely if you want to serve the people or if you want to serve people, definitely it's more rational to start from your own constituency. It's more rational to start from your own. Have you
what's the word? Is it nurture the constituency? That's how they call it. Have you nurtured the constituency?
Yeah.
Have you done things for the constituency?
I think consciously or unconsciously, because if you asked me 5 years ago, I never had such an ambition. But at some point, through your engagements, through the work that you do, through your services, you may not even know directly that you are impacting the lives of people in all areas, in all spheres. Being it even where you find yourself, the level of facilitation and assistance you are able to give people. At the end of the day, you realize that ultimately it all translates into the fact that you serve them in many ways. So yes, if you ask me politically, I believe that we've done something quite significant in terms of even impact directly into people's life. We've done also something that is quite significant. And I'm sure the people are very much appreciative of it. There's even the more reason why some of the calls came through that, young man, you have to make this bold step and move in that direction.
And that's right. But you're going against a sitting member of parliament. He's in his second term. Would it be an easy thing for you?
For me, I think it all boils down to one, my ambitions as a young man. And I've always maintained that when God gives a vision, at every point he makes provisions for the vision. For me, it really has nothing to do with who I'm contesting. It has more to do with my ambition as a young man and what I want to do for my people. And I mean, it has more to do with helping them. I mean, if you look at even my slogan, it has more to do with Kwasi from Puntu, making sure that there is development and people are really progressing in all aspects of their lives. It has more to do with that and not, I mean, the caliber of who I'm contesting. Election, I've always said that is reduced to three main things: hard work, a bit of divinity, and maybe some way, somehow, within our contest manipulations. But I feel that hard work...
Ways and means.
Yes, hard work largely supersedes all these three. If you work very hard, you have the blessings of God. I do not think why the people are going to let you down.
Why do you want to go to parliament?
Of course, I mean, it stems from the fact that as a young man, you see yourself serving people in many aspects. Like, of course, when I had this role to serve as a spokesperson, I mean, remember, even before the serving as a spokesperson for the Ministry of Education, I had opportunity at a very young age. And I mean, you are aware that the law, even in the media and a lot of places, people have used my age against me, which I feel is an advantage.
That you're a small boy.
Yeah, people feel I'm a small boy. But I don't think people will be more interested in the age of a person. They'll be more interested in what the person can do for them than their age. Omaro, this is an iPhone. If today somebody promises you that he's going to give an iPhone, you'll be much more concerned about the person's capability, and willingness to give you the iPhone rather than the person's age. So for me, I don't think that really is an issue.
Finally, you are in public office. Are you going to use our public money to go and campaign our public vehicle, the Ministry of Education official vehicle? You take it to Achim Agogo and go and be campaigning. Is that what you are going to do? Or you resign as PRO of the Education Ministry?
The Vice President didn't resign when he was running for his presidential ambition. But I think it has more to do with convictions as a person and what you know is right and what you know is wrong. Of course,
I shouldn't expect to see a Ministry of Education pick up in Agogo at a funeral.
No, I've never even done that.
You won't do that.
No, I've never done that before.
And so you won't do that. I just want to know so that if we see a photo of one in Agogo at a funeral,
you have to take it from the person's history. I've never done that before. Okay. I've had people supporting me. That's why I mentioned that when God gives you a vision, definitely He makes provisions for the vision.
Okay.
There are a lot of people who have been supporting in many ways. People are, donating their cars, not necessarily for you to take, but for the use for the purpose of the campaign.
Okay.
People have been donating money. If I sit here and tell you my salary as maybe a civil servant, you
tell me, please.
You laugh. Let me hold on for now. But
then let's leave there.
Largely, people are really helping and supporting with the cause.
We wish you all the best, and thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you.
That's Kwasi Kwarteng. He's PRO of the Ministry of Education.